The world is burning. An uncontrollable fire has broken out. The walls are melting, and those who could stop it are standing back, watching everything char outside of their safe castle. The golden door opens, and from the protected estate emerges an artificial doll, clad in black and white with a soulless face, her hollow insides creaking as her heels clack on the ground. She approaches the pleading masses as their inflamed flesh progresses to a grimy burgundy. The doll pulls her string, and the pre-recorded message plays to the dying people.
This country is so beautiful. Don't you love my dress?
This was the experience of watching Melania, the 2026 documentary about First Lady Melania Trump. The film documents the days leading up to Donald Trump's second inauguration. Melania herself and the filmmakers likely figured the movie would be fascinating for showcasing the behind-the-scenes work for the inauguration, as well as how interesting Melania is as a person. It fails on both fronts. The assembly of everything, from her dresses to dinner decor to transportation, is all boring. There are many meetings with banal discussions and an obsession with opulence so grotesque that you want to vomit at the sight of lifeless white and black, if only to see a more pleasing color. The dullness and phony nature of it all comes through in Melania's presentation. Melania reveals that she was previously a model, and it shows. Her voiceover narration has all the banality of a model answering questions about social issues they don't fully understand. She speaks about how much she cares about children and philanthropy, but spends nearly the entire movie obsessing over her fashion, her decorations, and her ego. To hide Melania's many imperfections, the film struggles to make her look appealing. The movie begins with her leaving Mar-a-Lago as Gimme Shelter by the Rolling Stones plays. The music continues with a close-up on Melania sitting in a car, her face muted and her eyes devoid of any interest. When Melania arrives at Trump Tower as the credits are still rolling, we get more footage of her sitting in cars as the soundtrack switches to Michael Jackson's Billie Jean. The choice of music is jarring, not fitting the imagery or setting the right tone. The soundtrack feels less like a matching sensation and more like turning on the radio during a tedious car trip when nobody in the vehicle wants to talk. It's later revealed in the movie that Melania's favorite music artist is Michael Jackson. But who gives a shit? The song doesn't work, and it was likely only included because Melania wanted it there. This is her movie, and it's all about what she wants, no matter how dumb it may be. En route to Trump Tower, Melania states, quote, "Everyone wants to know, so here it is. 20 days in my life. Family, business, philanthropy, and becoming the First Lady of the United States again." And you can likely guess which of these 4 attributes will be given the most coverage, and which 3 will be given the most lip service. Melania's first step towards becoming the First Lady again is meeting with her designers to discuss the dresses that she will wear. There is so much talk of dresses. So much boring talk. The designers say it's great to work with Melania because she knows how to communicate with them, having been a model previously. The audience is presumably supposed to be impressed with this trying on of dresses to whimsical music. But because Melania is such an uninteresting person who mostly talks about herself, this is just dull. And I'm not a designer, but all of this seems so insultingly tedious for what amounts to dresses that look like dog shit. Melania's next stop is visiting with her event planner for the inauguration dinner. The colors will be gold and gray, with the food being golden eggs and caviar. I'm sure to some rich prick all of this looks decadent and sophisticated. All I can see, however, is an excess of disgust. A celebration of the disgustingly rich and vapid people in our world. We are not meant to vomit at this meeting. We are meant to be impressed with Melania's vision for a dinner where her ilk dine in a manner that even the bluntest of capitalism satirists would admit is a bit much. Amid the event planning, the planner notes that the colors defining Melania are black and white. I would agree, but not for defining her attire. There is white, an absence of color. Melania is devoid of any charm or warmth, lacking any color in her personality. And then there is black, an absence of light. It is an emptiness within Melania's mind and heart. Every poetic declaration of thinking about Americans rings as hollow as her very husk. Black and white might be the safe tones of the elegant, but it is also an absence, a distance between her and the rest of the world that doesn't revolve around her. It is impossible to watch the film without thinking about all the hideous events that followed. Melania states in the film that she respects the history of the White House, mentioning her work in the East Wing. The East Wing of the White House has since been demolished to make room for Donald Trump's plans for a ballroom. A hideous ballroom that has been declared by critics as being absolutely shameful. There is no longer an East Wing for Melania to work on her designs. It's been torn down for something vulgar, something disgustingly too large and colored with an empty white and gaudy gold. After a pointless meeting with her hiring team, Melania calls her husband. Unsurprisingly, the only topic that Donald Trump wants to discuss with her is Donald Trump. Trump brags about winning the election and Melania congratulates him. The only question that he asks her is if she watched his election coverage, which she didn't. There is no affection or concern that he shows for Melania in this call. It is all about him, his election, his victory, his ego, his everything. If Donald and Melania have anything in common, it's their selfish egotism. Melania's inability to connect with anyone is best illustrated when she attends Jimmy Carter's funeral. Rather than speak about Carter in her narration and what this former president meant to her, she instead uses this opportunity to talk about her mother, who died a year prior. She says nothing about Carter. This is the level of putrid narcissism within Melania. This is a woman who attended the funeral for a highly influential president known for the philanthropy that Melania is supposedly passionate about, and her only thought about this event is, how can I make this about me? Harping on mortality, Melania says we must cherish the moments with our family and loved ones while they are still with us. Notably absent from this film are any scenes in which Melania spends time with her son, Barron. Barron does appear at public events in the movie, but rarely in scenes filmed specifically for this documentary, in which he interacts with his mother beyond passing acknowledgments. There are scenes where Trump and Melania are together, but there is a cold, detached quality in their interactions. Very little feels candid in what is filmed. Everything is business, and what little isn't comes off like awkward small talk. The detachment can be felt in everything Melania does. She watches the Los Angeles wildfires that have devastated homes with this blank, vacant stare as she sits on her couch and watches television. She is meant to seem thoughtful, but there is no emotion on her face, no concern beneath the surface. The only sign that she cares is in her voiceover, where the sympathy is more in her words than her delivery. She can't focus on the fires now. She needs to meet with Aviva Siegel, an Israeli woman whose husband is being held by Hamas. Aviva is tearful and hoping for her husband's return, while Melania comes off as bland as she always does. A moment that could have been the most heartfelt scene in the entire movie, and Melania still doesn't come off as human. This was her moment to not seem like an uncaring, selfish figure, and she fucked it up. This meeting was not heartfelt, it was just another opportunity to make her look good, refusing to hide any of the strings for this self-serving puppet show. The only time that Melania seems to genuinely show emotion is when she sings along to Michael Jackson in the car. We are meant to see this as human and relatable. Melania sang the lyrics to Billie Jean. That is something I do. She is literally me. We have so much in common. Countering this playful scene, however, is everything that follows. Melania returns to Mar-a-Lago, a place that feels like home for harboring family and friends. Missing from the film are scenes with her family and friends. You'll just have to take her word for it. She refers to this place as her peace from the outside world. There is so much conflict in the world that she simply doesn't want to deal with it or stare it in the face. Melania states in her voiceover narration that she wants to be a positive inspiration for Americans and to help their children. However, instead of meeting with Americans about these issues, she meets with the Queen of Jordan. After all, who better to give advice on helping out America's foster children than royalty? Opulent, ignorant, detached royalty. As I watch Melania and the Queen of Jordan discuss their initiatives for children, I am not witnessing a display of philanthropic plans. I am instead watching two rich, spoiled brats sucking each other's butts about how compassionate they are. Melania already wasn't coming off as genuine, but Donald Trump's many appearances only worsen her image. There's a scene where Donald and Melania discuss the inauguration plans while the whimsical music plays. Melania can't wait to reveal her dress for the big day. Donald Trump, however, whines that the college football championship is on the same day as his inauguration and that it was intentionally scheduled to make him look bad. I don't know why this scene was left in the movie, considering that it makes Trump look like the embarrassing, spoiled brat that everyone knows him as. And yet, it plays, and the emotional music struggles to suggest that Trump deserves our sympathy. Either that, or we're meant to relate more to Melania, who likely tuned out during the temper tantrum to think about dresses. Her dull, lifeless dresses of black and white. The swirling acromatics of an empty void. The world is burning. People are dying, but have you seen Melania's hat? The candlelight dinner before the inauguration has arrived, and watching the scene was like staring deep into the abyss. Excessive luxury spews from this celebration of greed. Melania's words about helping Americans means nothing for these scenes, and the classical music only makes it worse. Elite ghouls cackle as they indulge in this costly meal, with the creepy smile of Elon Musk becoming a jump scare. Melania recognizes the power in this room and hopes it will be used to make America prosper. It won't, but who gives a shit? Look at her dress. During this event, a prayer is offered for Donald Trump's success. Trump's association with Christianity seems to have shifted over the years. He had previously courted Christians by stating that he was trying to get into heaven. During his 2024 election, he stated on Fox News, quote, "If I'm good, I'm going to heaven, and if I'm bad, I'm going someplace else." But in 2025, 1 year later, he was interviewed on Air Force One and remarked, quote, "I don't think there's anything that's going to get me into heaven." When discussing the war with Iran, Trump said that the country is being beaten to hell. If Trump is going to hell, he is dragging us all down there with him. Getting back to the documentary, Inauguration Day arrives and Melania dons her outfit. She wears a hat with a large brim that conceals her face. She spends much of the ceremony looking down, hiding her expression. We cannot see into her soulless eyes or distant look. All that we can see is her hat, her fashion. Don't look at her personality, only her style. I don't recall there being an explanation for why the hat had to obscure as much of her face as possible. Not that it matters though. It's an absurd choice, no matter what the explanation. Nobody told her how bad this would look. Nobody said this outfit makes her look like a cartoonish villain with her face concealed. And nobody said this fashion would be so easily mockable. The movie then features Trump's inauguration speech. He notes that his legacy will be that of a peacemaker, a lie that can't even be swallowed anymore. When Trump was in office for his second term, the ceasefire that Israel had with Gaza was broken, and we're currently at war with Iran. But who cares about peace anyway? No need for that when you're already going to hell. Let's just bring hell here. Now you might be wondering why the film even bothered to present this unfulfilled pledge. It's present because that was the part of the speech where Melania suggested that he use the word unifier. Did you see that? She helped. Isn't she great? So what if the speech was a lie? It's not like these words mean anything. They're empty phrases from empty people. As Donald and Melania walk through the Capitol crypt, she speaks in a voiceover about her husband. Quote, "Nobody has endured what he has over the past few years. People tried to murder him, incarcerate him, slander him, and here he is. I'm so very proud. Yes, they tried to murder him. Like the conservative assassin. They tried to incarcerate him for 34 felony counts of falsifying business records and paying hush money to a porn star. They tried to slander him for his incitement of the January 6th insurrection, his rape charges, his vulgar personality, and his everything. And here he is, a bloated mass of egotism who faced little to no consequences for his actions. Aren't you proud? Melania's proud. Look at her dress. Don't look at the smoke or the ground crumbling beneath you. Look at her heels if you must look down. Due to the cold weather, the following inaugural ball is held in the Capital One Arena. Melania admits that she prefers this venue as opposed to an outdoor one. She states that she feels safer in such a confined space, which gives her peace of mind, just like Mar-a-Lago, surrounded by family and friends, not commoners, not the ones who despise Trump or are critical of his politics, only the nice people. Why can't the rest of the world be this nice? Maybe this movie will make those haters change their minds. Maybe audiences will love Melania for how she awkwardly sings and dances along to YMCA by the Village People. Melania is human. Humans sing and dance. Literally me. You didn't hear an explosion. That was the music. The film ends with Melania and Donald finally arriving at the White House. There's a scene where Melania waves the cameraman over as Donald gets something to eat from the fridge. The way that she beams makes it seem as though something exciting is happening behind the curtain. There isn't. There's nothing revealing, nothing relatable. There is nothing. Nothing. Only nothing. And what's maddening is that we know there is something not being shown here. We've heard the calls of how heated and angry Trump can be when he doesn't get his way. But that bratty, candid Trump is not present in this movie. There are no arguments with Melania, no intimate moments between them that aren't staged for a photo op with the press. Reality has been glazed over by this film, sterilized in a thick coating of whimsy, and the pop music tracks cleared for this picture from artists who haven't sued yet. You won't learn anything all that compelling or relatable about Donald or Melania. Why should they tell you anything? Who are you, anyway? Do you know how hard it is to be someone like Melania? Do you know how much work it took to make her inauguration outfit? Look at her ensemble that hides her face, the perfect encapsulation of this movie's closed doors that you are not granted access to. As the movie ends, Melania's departing words are that she will move forward with purpose and, of course, style. I would say her legacy is style over substance, but that implies her style can compensate for her lack of personality. Her style can't carry her lack of accomplishments in this film's textual epilogue. She helped with the executive order fostering the future for American children and families, but it has done little to nothing to address the systemic issues in the foster care system. Padding her list is how she visited disaster sites across America, and this should be standard for political leaders. Does Melania really want a cookie for doing the bare minimum? Melania is not just a bad documentary because its subject is an egotistical elite, or that the director, Brett Ratner, is a sexual assault predator, although that should be enough. The film itself is just a whole lot of nothing. Every voiceover Melania spouts is loaded with hollow words that never sound genuine when they spill out of her mouth. Her devotion to philanthropy and family is all talk, with none of that care coming across in the film. Her style is dumb as she wears dresses that look like someone scribbled on them with a magic marker and hats that make her look like a villain in a Disney movie. She wants to show off her personality, but never lets the audience see that much of her, refusing to look the public in the eye as her brim obscures her. There is no warmth or color to this picture. There is nothing, a lack of color and an absence of light. Black and white. The colors of Melania. The bland is mistaken for bold, and the excess is mistaken for the decadent. The world is still burning. The bodies have charred, and the infrastructure has toppled in a heap of ash. Still standing among the destruction is Melania, her porcelain face unmoving and her hideous dress unaffected by the flames. She pulls her string again, and another message plays.
I will do everything I can to restore America's beauty and glory. I am the most compassionate First Lady.
She feels as though she has made a difference as she marches back to the golden doors, taking refuge from the world that she failed to protect. She views herself as the hero because no one else was present to disagree with her. However, we are not yet at that part of the story. You are still here, and you don't have to bow to these people. You need to say that the Empress is wearing a shitty dress. Hey folks, thanks for watching my video all the way to the end. If you enjoyed it, be sure to give it a like and subscribe for more video essays and movie reviews that I do on this channel. If you'd like early access to videos like these, I also have a Patreon below, which you can check out. It also has some of my exclusive writing. Thanks for watching, and if you want a documentary with some color, I recommend the Katsi trilogy. These three films are mesmerizing. I cannot get enough of them. If you have not seen them, seek them out. You will not regret it.